that blends, grinds, chops, dices, pounds yam and makes smoothies in seconds. All for just 364,950 naira only. And that's not all. You can get the ShopX Premier Kitchen Collection in 2 easy payments of 182,475 naira. Place your order now and we will deliver the entire collection for free anywhere you are in Nigeria. But hurry, this exclusive ShopX TV offer is for a limited time only, so call now while stocks last. The following was a paid presentation from ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
You're watching Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. President Tinubu, since he assumed office,
we are on our way to progress.
6 out of the 8 APC federal lawmakers.
I have a movement structure that's going to take back our party in Enugu State. Because this one I'm seeing is tales by moonlight. It's not working.
So I'm wondering what you think or who you think can stop him now.
He doesn't own the party.
One of the causes of inflation is because people cannot go to the farm.
The government still needs to do more so that people can eat.
I believe we're clamoring for is more responsible use of social media. Not that people just go in there and think that they can say anything to anybody.
Tinubu is not one who believes in the same thing. I mean, he wants to get it done. He will face it. He will get it done.
Yes, the president, from inception of his administration, focused squarely on diversifying the economy and driving in investments to, cushion the effect of everything that we've seen, ranging from COVID-19 to the global commodity shocks, global financial crisis, and all of that.
I was privileged to have worked under a governor who believed in the system, who also built up the system, and I'm going to do same.
All right, that's our show today, everyone. Thanks for being a part of it.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, January 15, 1929. The son of a Baptist minister, King received a doctorate degree in theology and in 1955 helped organize the first major protest of the African-American civil rights movement, the successful Montgomery bus boycott. King participated in and led marches for the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. He advocated civil disobedience and nonviolent opposition against segregation in the South, influenced by Mahatma Gandhi. The peaceful protests he led throughout the American South were often met with violence. Nonetheless, Dr. King and his supporters were persistent and the movement gained momentum. Dr. King was a powerful orator. He appealed to Christian and American ideals and won growing support from the federal government and Northern White. In 1963, Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph led the massive march on Washington for jobs and freedom. The event's grand finale was King's famous I Have a Dream speech. 250,000 people gathered outside the Lincoln Memorial to hear the stirring speech. In 1964, the civil rights movement achieved 2 of its greatest successes: the ratification of the 24th Amendment, which abolished the poll tax, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibited racial discrimination in employment and education and outlawed racial segregation in public facilities. In the same year, King became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. In the late 1960s, King openly criticized U.S. involvement in Vietnam and turned his efforts to winning economic rights for poor Americans. He was a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement and organized a number of peaceful protests as head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, including the March on Washington in 1963. He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968.
Have you had a hard time with taxes and understanding tax administration in Lagos State and the complex nature of Nigerian tax law. Do you know what agency or tier of government collects the various types of taxes? Have you ever found yourself asking any of these questions? Join us for your favorite program, The Tax Talk, your infotainment program.
Hello, NIDA Impact lovers. We have good news for you. In the quest to keep Nigerians abreast of the happenings in the digital space, NIDA Impact, a flagship TV program of the National Information Technology Development Agency, is now showing here on Television Continental. It is, as always, educative, informative, and innovative. NIDA Impact. Keep a date with NIDA Impact, your guide to a digital Nigeria.
Good morning and welcome to This Morning on TVC News. I'm Ibrahim Shita, standing in for Yuri Folari. And then it's a Monday. We'll be talking about especially an issue that is affecting not just Nigerians, but on a global level, but particularly how it's affecting Nigeria, and that's the cholera outbreak, and understanding the cause of cholera in the outbreak in Nigeria and what led to it, and how it is ravaging some parts of the state, and how it's also affecting some people who are aware and not aware. But then let's begin by telling you that the Lagos State government says unregistered tiger nut drinks have not been identified as the cause of the recent cholera outbreak in the state. There were reports that Kemi Oguyemi, special advisor to the Lagos State governor on health, said unregistered tiger nut drinks had caused the outbreak. And reacting to the report, spokesperson of the Ministry of Health in Lagos, Tubonsun Ogunbanwo, said Oguyemi was misquoted. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Akin Abayomi, has also confirmed that there have been 350 suspected cases, with 17 confirmed and 15 fatalities. It's also worthy of note to bring to your understanding how cholera really started in Nigeria, which was first reported in Nigeria in 1970. And so from 1990, large outbreaks were reported in 1991, 1996, and 1999. To 2011. So between 2004 and 2016, a total of 154,910 cases and 5,127 deaths were reported. So, and then the largest outbreak were reported in the northern state of the country. So in the north, outbreaks often spread from Nigeria to neighboring countries around the Lake Chad region known as Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. And in the south, along the Gulf of Guinea. So let's bring you some latest reports regarding what's happening with cholera in the country.
According to the General Manager of LASEPA, Dr. Tunde Ajayi, a team of experts from LASEPA's ISO certified laboratory is working with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Environment, the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, NGOs and other bodies to normalize the situation. Laboratory analysis of water samples from Odiolowo, Mushin, Kushofe and Lagos Island revealed contamination, making the water unsafe to drink.
As LASEPA, we have been in the center of this activity, of this outbreak response. We have gone to test water across town, across all local governments. We're currently out in Kushofe today. I think we have done Lagos Island, we have done Mushin. We have seen, different activity in the water people drink. And we have deliberately made sure that the infractions or the problems, the carelessness that caused these problems have been abated. People should not indiscriminately leak their waste or their sewage into drains, right, into gutters. If you leak it into gutters, your water pipes are flowing through the same gutters. Anywhere you have a burst, there will be a connection. And then you have the cholera from the sewage getting into the pipes. And of course, you drink it in your house. So we're rolling out advocacy on it. We're continuing our testing. We're identifying places or clusters where we have issues, and then we're continuing testing in those spaces.
Mr. Ajayi also criticized some water retail outlets for unsanitary practices, noting that many borehole reservoirs were dirty and unkept, rendering the stored water unsafe. To prevent further consumption of contaminated water, the Lagos State government has provided clean water through tankers from the Lagos State Water Corporation. Affected boreholes will be cordoned off for treatment by the state government.
So, quite interesting reports there. And let's begin by talking with a public health expert and a medical officer of health at the Ifelodun LCDA in Lagos State. He's also the Vice Chairman, Medical Guild Association of all Lagos State employed doctors. That's Dr. Japhet Olugbogi, who is joining me via Zoom. Good morning to you, Dr. Japhet.
Good morning. Thank you for having me at the show this morning.
Right. So let's look at what the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, has reported. They reported more than 1,280 suspected cases, 65 confirmed cases, and 30 deaths across 30 states. So the states most affected include Bayelsa, Lagos, Zamfara, Abia, etc. So this has resulted in numerous fatalities. Would you say this scourge is spreading like a wildfire?
Yes, I would say it's spreading like wildfire.
Dr. Japhet. Okay, I understand that we're having a network glitch. So it's quite interesting report there that we're getting from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, which is actually reported, more than 1,280. I think the figure that I saw just a few minutes ago, it's about 1,284, and then it continues to swell. So those are the suspected cases, talking about those 65 confirmed cases and also 30 deaths across 30 states. And these states, some of your states might be there. Another report said about 30 states, another says 31 out of the 36 states. And some of the states which have been confirmed include talk about Bayelsa, Lagos, Zamfara, Abia, Bauchi, Cross River, Ebonyi, Delta, and Kisina, among other states. And it's really, leading to numerous fatalities. So what we try to establish connectivity. Okay, I understand Dr. Japhet is back. Dr. Japhet, we lost you momentarily. Could you carry on from where you left off?
Yes, sorry for that. I was saying that the infection is spreading like wildfire, like you mentioned, in those states affected. And that's because the more the rains, the more the tendency for cholera to spread in those affected states. And some other states that we may have heavy rainfall, coupled with unsanitary practices throughout the country.
So there are states, including Lagos State, where open defecation is a thing. And then if you look at it, there are slums and places where hygiene is a mirage. What level of risk does this cholera pose in such places as this?
Yes, thank you very much. That's a valid point. Like I mentioned earlier on, there are sanitary practices all over the country, and top of them is the open defecation that you mentioned. Open defecation is a huge risk for transmission of cholera disease and some other parasitic infections. In fact, it's also a huge risk for the transmission of polio. And I think it's one of the reasons why we still have Africa being a target of polio eradication. So back to cholera, you see a lot of people in Lagos, especially in the slum areas of Lagos and the densely populated areas of Lagos, practicing open defecation. I did a study about a few years ago, and I found out that open defecation was prevalent up to about 76% in Badagry area of Lagos. And you realize that a lot of people even practice open defecation, whether they have toilets facilities or not, because it's become like a norm for them, because there's no law enforcing or people chasing them, making them pay fines or jailing them. So a lot of people just take laws into their hands and practice open defecation. Open defecation means that people do pass their fecal matter, their poops, on open surface, on dry land, on gutters, on the roadside, on bridges. When you drive into Lagos Island, I think it's reduced now, due to the effort of the Lagos State government. Before, you'd see a lot of people early in the morning coming out by the bridges and the sides of the road to do the major on the roadside. So this is very bad because we call it waste. This is human waste that we are putting on the roadside. So whenever flood comes, whenever rains comes, the flood washes all these fecal matter into the communities, into the homes. They get to soil, the utensils, contaminate water, contaminate all sorts of food items, vegetables, fruits, all the things that we take into our mouth. And this is the reason why we are having this resurgence of cholera outbreak. Now, you may want to argue that because I mentioned that people practice open defecation with ease, we may say that because we don't have enough housing units in Lagos or in some other parts of the country. But then again, some people just make it a practice. Some people just make it a habit, whether they have toilet facilities or not, whether they have water or not, because water has also been, fingered as one of the causes of open defecation, because sometimes they have toilet facilities, they do not have water, and some people just stay away from such toilet facilities and rather do their duties on the roadside or even inside plastic bags and fling them wherever they find. This is a really very bad practice and we need to stop it. This is one of the reasons why we are endemic for such diseases as cholera in this part of the world.
So if you look at it, some people are actually contracting these, real fast because as of June 20th, 2024, the Lagos State Commissioner posted on his Twitter handle in saying that an additional 6 suspected cholera cases have been reported in Lagos, adding to the existing figure of 350 suspected cases with 17 confirmed and 15 fatalities. So how would you describe the response of the various ministries across the country in mitigating the impact of these diseases, or ensuring that people do not contract it, and those who are contracting it, they are catered to as soon as possible?
Yeah, first of all, cholera can be difficult to control or stop. It can also be very easy to stop. And that's because it is easy to spread because it is transmitted through the fecal-oral route. That is what you take into your mouth. It's what makes you have cholera. So while you are caring for people who have cholera, it is easy for those who are caring for them or every other person who is taking in food items or drinks that are contaminated to also get the cholera. So what you need to do is to stop that source of that food item or drinks or the contaminated item that is passing the cholera around. But if you look at the effort of the various ministries, of course, they have sprung into action right from the federal to the state and the local governments. They are creating a lot of awareness, they're creating a lot of education, they're communicating risk, they are speaking to the stakeholders that ought to be able to disseminate information to the populace. They are also putting in, technical experts onto the field to gather samples from various items, from various objects to see what strain of the Vibrio cholerae that is causing the problem, and also what can be done to stem it in the time. But then again, as the government is putting in their own effort, we, the citizens, also need to put in our own effort. We shouldn't leave these things to the government alone to tackle, because government alone cannot tackle them. This outbreak is a disease of poor sanitary practices. It's a disease of lack of water. It's a disease of lack of basic social amenities. You see, in a state like Lagos, a lot of people dig their own boreholes. In fact, in a compound, you may find at least 4 or 5 boreholes in a compound. What this means is that people jettison all the rules and regulations that the environmentalists put down for the sinking of such facilities. And because of that, you see a lot of people digging all sorts of boreholes. The ones that are not deep enough, the ones that are close to septic tanks, the ones that are close to waste and drainages. So because of this, our water sources in Lagos near and easily contaminated with parasites, eggs of parasites, ova of parasites, and bacteria like Vibrio cholerae. So we also need, to put in our own quota and ensure that we wash our hands all the time with running water, clean water, and soap. We ensure that we don't defecate in the open. We ensure that we wash our vegetables and fruits very well before we eat them, and to ensure that we cook our food, especially food items like raw meat and fish and dry fish and all that. We cook them thoroughly before we consume them, and ensure that when we cook our food and put them down, we cover them and prevent rodents or flies from pestering on them. We also ensure that when we put our waste, we cover our waste, because the refuse that we have and keep in front of our houses or surroundings or on the major roads, these are also habitats of bacteria like Vibrio cholerae. So we need to contribute.
That's right. I remember, when you were saying people should wash their hands, do this and that, these are some of the non-pharmaceutical measures that were heard, during the COVID-19 pandemic. Post-pandemic, I'm not sure whether people still stick to some of these non-pharmaceutical measures. But one would also wonder why this bacteria is spreading, this fast. But is it contagious, and how extremely virulent or virulent is it?
Yes, Vibrio cholerae is extremely contagious. Like we mentioned, one individual can infect as many people as possible. And this is because, whether we like it or not, we all are going to eat something or drink something, or even put our fingers in our mouth at some point in time. So if we carelessly touch any surface, touch anything that is contaminated, door handle or our food is contaminated, or we buy pure water. Okay, let's take pure water for instance now. Even if the water is pure, even if the water in the pure water nylon sachet is pure, the water with which the pure water is iced or stored can be contaminated, because it can be from a poor source of water. Anybody that drinks from that without cleaning the surface of the pure water sachet can contract Vibrio cholerae and then come down with cholera. Anybody that cares for anyone that has Vibrio cholerae can develop cholera, because as the individual is stooling and vomiting, the vomitus and the fecal matter can stain all the surfaces, couches, beddings, linens, everything. And the unsuspecting carers of that individual would have touched one thing or the other, and whenever they want to eat or drink, they unsuspiciously put their contaminated fingers in their mouth, or put their contaminated food items in their mouth, and voila, there they are having cholera.
Well, some people who are watching would say, God forbid, I won't contract it because it's not my portion. The way Nigerians are, they are quite religious. But, how deeply concerning is it for you regarding public places and facilities? Because these people will always go to places such as offices, schools, religious gatherings, and parks where this disease can easily spread. How responsible should such people behave in these places?
It is very concerning because nobody is immune to it as of this moment. It could be anyone. It could be a child, a woman, a man, a pregnant woman. Children and pregnant women are even more susceptible to it, because when they get dehydrated from the stooling and vomiting, it's a whole lot of problem for them. But nobody is immune to it. So it could be anyone, whether in the office, at home, in the church, anywhere you have food items passing around or drinks passing around, such gathering can be, a harbinger for cholera. So it's a huge problem, because, again, people die from it easily. Within hours, somebody can get dehydrated and get renal shutdown, and then the individual can pass away from the complications of cholera. As of this moment, over 20 people have died in Lagos because of the cholera outbreak. And so it is concerning, even if it's just one individual, that is a huge death. How much more 20 individuals? And so if you don't control it on time, of course, a lot more people are at risk of that happening. So it's a huge problem, a huge burden, a huge concern, public health-wise. We shouldn't be having people die from cholera at this age and time in our society.
Absolutely. So anyone who has contracted this, or what are some of the symptoms do you think one needs to watch out for, and how early does it present itself if anyone has actually contracted this bacteria?
If anyone has contracted vibrio cholera, the individual within hours, a couple of hours, can begin to pass stool, lose watery stool. They may also be vomiting. They may also have abdominal cramps, and the more they pass the stools, the more they get weaker and having malaise. And then when they get weaker, they get dehydrated. When they get dehydrated, you can see that they lose orientation. That is, sometimes, depending on how severe the dehydration is, they may not be able to recognize faces or even, speak well or carry themselves up and all that. So, and afterwards, what we call kidney shutdown, renal failure can happen. And when that happens, the individual may pass away. But mostly, what we call, what Yoruba calls, you carry 2 calabash, that is 2 buckets to collect the effluent that comes out of the individual, is through vomiting and stooling. So what you will likely watch out for is someone passing loose watery stool and vomiting. Now, the characteristic of cholera is such that the stool is rice water in nature. That is, when you look at the stool, it may have the appearance of rice water. But in this outbreak, we have seen a lot of people passing the stool that does not look like rice water at all. It just passed loose, watery stool, which is a bit opaque or brownish or dark in color. So it may not necessarily be rice water stool. But once any individual is passing stool and vomiting more than 2 or 3 times now, we should ensure that we treat the individual as a case of cholera.
Right, Dr. Japheth, just hold on. We have one of our viewers who is joining us on the show, Chidi from Kafanchan. Chidi, make your point.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chidi. Carry on.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Japheth. I wish to condole with the families of the victims of this dastardly cholera issue that is on the ground. Having said that, it is very, very important that we work towards living in a real sanitary environment, then ensuring that the foods we eat are not bad, contaminated. The waters we drink are not contaminated. And as soon as anybody sees any sign that is pointing to this cholera issue, let such a person go to the nearest medical place to seek for medical attention. It is not good that in this age, our people will be dying of a disease called cholera. I want to believe that if it is contained at this point in time, it is going to be good for the Lagos state citizens and Nigerians in general. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Right, thank you very much, Chidi from Kafanchan. Thank you for that beautiful advice. And that you're speaking to exactly what Dr. Japheth has been, talking to us about. Dr. Japheth, so you were saying that anyone who has contracted this would definitely see certain signs and symptoms that the person has it. So the moment the person realizes all of this, what should be the next line of action?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very good question. What is happening is that somebody who has cholera is passing out water and minerals from the body. And when I say minerals, I mean the certain small elements that make up strength and vitamins in the body, not the mineral that you know. So what they are doing is they're passing out mineral from the body, the mineral that give them strength in the body. So they should take back water and mineral. Now, ordinary water does not contain all the minerals that they would need, so they will need what we call oral rehydration solution. This oral rehydration solution is a composition of salt and water. Salt in one part, that's a teaspoon of salt, and then 5 teaspoons of sugar, made into clean, boiled and filtrated water, about 50 cl or 75 cl. And then the individual should be drinking that as often as possible. In fact, you can take up to 5 to 6 bottles of this in a day. Besides that, any individual who comes down with cholera should be rushed to the nearest facility, health facility for treatment.
All right, Dr. Japheth, please hold on. We'll definitely take a break and then be back and pick it up from where we are leaving it off. Do stay with us here on This Morning. We'll be right back.
Join Arash Keswani, Dial Israel, Dr. Ola Brown, Mahmoud Tukur, Toby Ajayi, Nod Motors, Shijibumi Ogundele Sujimoto, Joyce Awushika, Nia Desoya, Kula Shoria, and many other experienced trainers and facilitators at the Enterprise Skills Development Training Program for business owners, business managers, and entrepreneurs from Monday 8 to Friday 12 July 2024 from 9 a.m. daily in Lagos. Event is free for everyone, but registration is mandatory. Training will be declared open on Monday, July 8th by His Excellency Abdullahi Ganduje and His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Register now on www.youngprogressives.ng/mybusinessandi. For partnership and exhibition, call 0806-628-8642 or 0816-676-5045. You can email us at events@youngprogressives.ng. Announcer Dr. Dyer Israel, National Youth Leader, APC.
Thanks for staying with us here on This Morning on TVC News. We've been talking about the cholera outbreak in Nigeria and how it's been affecting people, businesses, and also because it's a public health concern, and what we need to do if anyone contracts it or sees the signs and symptoms, and what next line of action such person should take. And we've been educated, we're being educated by public health experts and a medical officer of health at the fellow in LCDA in Lagos State, who is also the Vice Chairman, Medical Guild Association of all Lagos State employed doctors, Dr. Japheth Olubogi. Thank you so much for your time on the show. I'd like to know, because we are talking about this, it's just to create awareness, but it's one thing for us to talk about it. It's another thing for people to be aware, for those who want to know. How much of public awareness do you think has been created in the consciousness of the public about the dangers this disease poses?
Well, right now, I think the average man on the street is aware that there's cholera outbreak going on. I believe that the average man on the street is also aware of what they need to do to curb or prevent them from, coming down from the cholera outbreak. Another thing is to be aware, and the other thing is to actually inculcate what you have heard or practice what you have seen. Awareness cannot, be enough. So we can and should continue to create awareness, and this is why we are all hands on deck, trying to create awareness to the teeming Nigerians on this. As government is doing its own. Health experts, medical associations, nursing associations, environmental associations, everyone has been creating some sort of awareness or the other on this. And I want to urge that we continue to do this until we have a change of habit and a change of practice, and until we decide and see that the outbreak is declining.
We have Mr. George joining us from Ikeja. Mr. George, please make your point.
Good morning, Ibrahim, and good morning to the doctor. Ibrahim, I am just wondering within myself, why do we like to apply the fire brigade approach to everything in our country? There are government agencies in almost every state in this country that oversee public health management and environment in the different states. In Lagos State here, we used to have the people they call Wole health inspectors that go to homes and premises to inspect the sanity of such the sanitary conditions of such places. These people are still there. They are being paid. But why is it that it's only when there's a break of, an outbreak of diseases that you now begin to see them? The countries we look for visa to go and jackpot to, they pay attention to these things. That is why their places are looking different. There are public toilets. The public toilets are not even enough. The few ones that are in existence, go there and see how it looks like. Why can't we do the important things? We always like to say other countries are better. But what they did to become better, we are not ready to do it. Let us change our attitude. Good morning.
Thank you so much, George from Ikeja. Japhet, that's quite a very important information or important point that has been noted by Mr. George from Ikeja. There are some, just like I asked a little earlier, there are some slum areas where you find people living, very dirty, even when it rains, especially now that the rain is coming. You see how dirty the place is. You wouldn't even want to, pass through those channels or those places to get to another place or another street or anything. What do you think? Do you think the government is staying back to some extent, unconcerned about what they need to do about these places?
No, I totally disagree. The government is not staying back on their duties concerning that, because people like us actually work hand in hand with the environmental health officers, whom we refer to as Wole Wole. And one of the trends I have personally noted on the field is that when you, commission the environmental health officers to go to a particular area where you have noted bad practices, bad sanitary practices, or people even channeling their waste into gutters and drainages and even canals around them, is that when they want to, enforce the law on them, some of us will pick up our phones and start calling people in higher authority, telling them that so people in their compound that they're trying to, lock down their compound or find them and all that. So what I'm trying to say is that people are, discouraging these officers from carrying out their duties by muscling them and bullying them. So I will not say categorically that it is all the officers that are carrying out their duty, but to what extent, to the extent that we have seen, sometimes Nigerians create a roadblock from some of these officers to carry out their duties. We have seen some areas in East Lagos where people channel their pipes, water pipes, through gutters, where people even channel their waste into gutters. And I have personally reported to the authority on a number of times, and we have sent men to the field to enforce and, stop this kind of habit. But when people come out, it's like the same thing that happens when government tries to clear a bucket from a roadside and people begin to revolt. Or you try to, stop people from carrying out a particularly bad practice, and people begin to revolt. So we have to all decide that we want to stop these practices. As we speak, even in town,
okay.
We see a lot of people
Japhet, please hold your thought. Hold your thought. You carry on from there. Ogundele from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State is joining us on the show. Ogundele, please make your point.
Thank you very much, the doctor. I thank the doctor and you that is anchoring the program. You see, Nigerians have to change our attitude, our environment, because you have to clean your environment. By the time you clean your environment very well, it will be very difficult to your water, the water you drink, everything. We have to change our attitude. Nigerians, we are too lawless. And this is why this is coming upon us. Look at during the time of Ebola. Look at during the time of COVID and everything. We need to be very clean. Cleanliness is next to God. Our environment, we have to take care of it. We cannot wait for government to do everything for us. There are some parts we have to play. We have to clean our environment and let everywhere be clean. We can come on top of a hot air. No, it is not possible. Your environment must be very, very clean. The water you will drink, where you are sleeping, all these things are necessary. We cannot just continue to put everything on government. The government has its own part. The citizens have their own part. Look at us. You go to some places in Lagos, you see very dirty. You see people eating under the gutter, mosquito, everything. No. So all we need to do is to change our attitude. We cannot, America does not become what it becomes just one day. It's gradual. Look at Ghana. When I was going to Liberia, I passed through Ghana. Look at the environment, very clean. So we need to change our attitude, and God bless you for this program.
Thank you very much, Mogundele. Thank you. And that reminds me, Japhet, of growing up. Every Saturday we used to doing, or was it last Saturday of the month, we used to doing environmental sanitation, where as a young guy, we go to the yard, go to the gutter area, clean everything. It's a must for all tenants, those who are our tenants then, and even entirety of the street. Until later when, it stopped. And then what they do is on Saturdays, especially for market goers, those who sell in the market, the marketers, what they do, you see on Thursdays, some respect this, some don't respect this. And this is speaking to our own attitude. But can attitude do it alone without the government's intervention or government enforcement, rather?
No, attitude alone cannot do it. We also still need government enforcement. In the developed countries that we're talking about, government enforcement is what ensures that people don't break the laws anyhow. Over there, whatever law you break, there's a repercussion for it. I saw in the US, someone trying to park, and somebody told him, you cannot park there. And immediately the guy drove away. He didn't park there because he knows that if he parks there, he's going to pay a $500 fine. I mean, if you pay a $500 fine and it is ensured that you pay it, you will not do that kind of crime again. You will not commit that kind of crime again. So, yes, government needs to enforce. Government needs to send men out to enforce. And when they come, they need to be allowed to do their jobs. Because a lot of our people are very, very lawless, just like the last caller mentioned. Nigerians, we are very, very lawless. We need to rise up to the occasion, come together and build our nation. Cleanliness, they say, is next to godliness. If our environments are clean, we're able to do away with so many infectious diseases that are troubling us in this part of the world. Look at malaria, for example. Malaria is still predominant, not only because of the weather, but because of refuse, waste that we put in everywhere, used tires, water logging in our environment, bush, refuse. So we need to up our games and become a better environmentalist in our neighborhood. If
Alex,
you report somebody in your neighborhood now who is...
Sorry, Japhet. Alex is in Amukoko and is joining us on the show. Alex, carry on.
It's Ahmed, not Alex.
Is what?
Ahmed.
Ahmed, okay, right. Sorry about that. Quickly, make your point.
Yeah, good one. Thank you. I'm happy to get you because...
Sorry, Ahmed, could you speak up? I'm having difficulty to hear you.
Sorry, you said what?
Could you speak up? I'm having difficulty to hear you.
Okay, yes, I said I'm happy to get through that. The thing is, I think bulk of the issue is from the government, not from the people. If there is a strong policy and a strong advocate on this, the people will follow up. Because I used to make reference to the time of the governor of Lagos, Babatunde Raji Fashola. There was a process that was followed, the environmental law, the CAI and the indiscipline and all of it. Even I followed up to today. That even if somebody drops something on the floor, I call him back that, look at a bin and you can throw this thing there. And, the thing is just, get to another mix when Governor Body come in and everything was in shambles. And up to now, Governor Sanwo-Olu was not able to, properly put his foot on the ground, to make everything work properly. So, and secondly, again, the issue of these white and khaki wearing officials that used to go around, they are not doing their work. I'm a living witness. They are not doing their work. There is a compound in the other side of my street. I believe that up to now they've not taken their sewage. And the thing is there, and these people will come, they will give them money, and that's all. We will not hear anything about it. We have went there to complain several times, and they are not doing anything about it. It's these officials that are, making government look stupid, like if they are not doing their work. I'm sorry if that that word is.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'm happy that you said some of the officials, not necessarily the person, at the end of affairs, talking about the governor, because the governors will ensure that policies, programs, everything are planned out, and then ensure that they're also implemented and enforced by the agencies that are being appointed. So, do we expect the governors to, be on the streets or be in various houses to ensure that these spaces are clean? Japheth?
No, we do not expect the principal to be on the field to ensure that these things are done. There are officers and agencies that are tasked with its responsibilities, and they are the ones that should carry out their responsibilities. They are the ones that should enforce. Let's not forget that we have a problem of enforcement in our country, and that's not only on environmental sanitation and other things as well. And the problem stems from the community itself. If the community members are, apprised, they are informed, and they are open, they open their arms to ensure that the law enforcement agencies carry out their duties, I'm sure they will carry out their duties. Now, let's take that Amukuku, for instance. I've personally been to a couple of compounds in that same Amukuku, that when I notified the environmental health officer that there's a particular place where they have pipes of water, potable water, so to say, running through gutters. And then when they got there and they realized that even waste, the same compound did not have septic tanks, and their waste are channeled into the drainage. You know what they started doing? They started carrying their phones and calling some people in authority, telling them that there are so many people in their compound trying to, eject them out of their compounds. And then they called and said the environmental health officers should take it easy with them. They should leave them. These are the people who vote for them. So you see, we do this a lot in this part of the world. I personally also reported a couple of, neighbors who are flouting environmental health laws. And then they tagged me as a bad person because I'm trying to do the right thing. And so we have this happening in our communities, in our environments. How much are we allowing enforcement agencies to carry out their duties, their tasks?
That's right. We have Funshaw from Mina, Niger State. Funshaw, please make your point.
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
How are you? And good morning to your guest. Yeah, you see, most of the callers been blaming the government. I know government too has their own problem, but we, the followers, do have our own. If the government put a law, don't do this, people violate the laws. But the bottom line is, we, the followers too, we should put in our best. If the government, see, like somebody likely called that if during what's called Babajira, if you throw something on the ground, you will be scared. If you are in the vehicle, you'll be scared to throw anything on the ground. But now, the law is no longer functioning. I remember when I was still more younger than this, during the Buhari regime, you dare not, in fact, let me use a Lagos example, you have to do a Lagos. You cannot even go and urinate nearby, you'll be scared to urinate. But now, everything just went, anybody can urinate beside the vehicle, where they are selling food in the everywhere. Under the bridge, you see people loitering, selling food, and the same thing eating there, and urinating, defecating there. So how will this not come to spread easily? But if the government should, we are appealing to the government to enforce this law because of spread of this cholera. Because if the government didn't do that now, it can cause a serious epidemic in the country. Please, we are appealing to government to please feed them their food and see that they enforce all this law so that this thing will not go out of reach. This thing will not go out of control.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Funshaw from Mina, Niger State. Thank you. Japheth, you were talking about something that sounds to me like whistleblower. So if you see something, within your environment or somewhere, you should also say something. But how effective has whistleblowing, been not just talking about environmental, threats, but then talking about security situations and all of that. Do you think it's effective, and how do we change?
Yeah, whistleblowing should be effective in a society, that gives room for that. Overseas, one of the reasons why their security is tight, is watertight, is because a lot of people see something and they say something. In Nigeria, they tag you as the bad element in the community. They tag you as the bad element in the neighborhood. It's the grumpy one, or the bad one, or the one antisocial one, or you start blowing whistle. But we have all agreed that government should enforce our laws. So if government is to enforce our laws, then we have to whistleblow.
Yeah.
We need to say something when we see something.
Absolutely.
When government enforces our laws, there should not be a public outcry against the government. We should allow government to do their jobs. Government put in technical experts, technical people in charge of agencies, in charge of departments to ensure that the laws are enforced, things are done the way they should be done. But in Nigeria, there's usually a lot of public outcries when government wants to enforce our laws to the letter. So we should allow government to enforce our laws.
That's right.
And government should, of course, indeed enforce our laws.
That's right, Japheth. We have Ada joining us from Jos. Ada, good morning to you. Unfortunately, we lost contact with Ada. We hope you'll be able to, call back so you make your point. Japheth, very quickly, because we have less than 5 minutes to end this conversation. What about vaccination? I think I read somewhere. Actually, the NSCDC, leader said something like, "We don't have vaccine. We have run out of vaccines," and then they've made a request for more vaccines. Okay, I understand Ada is back. Ada, quickly make your point.
Okay. I want to say here that whatever we give to the environment is about what we get. If you ask me, I think we have to take responsibility. I'm not holding brief for the government. Our destiny is in our hands. Is it the government that will come and sweep our houses for us? We have this attitude of not even observing personal and environmental hygiene. It's an issue. And that during this rainy season, it's worse because cholera is a waterborne disease. And with the rains now, surface water usually overflows into most sources of water, such as wells, ponds, dams, even boreholes, if it's not properly situated or done, So as much as we're talking about government to do its own part, let the individuals, let us also take responsibility. And then enforcement of laws help to regulate people's behavior. That's the problem we have in Nigeria. Some of these laws are there, the environmental laws are there, but they're not fully implemented. When the government tries to implement it, people start shouting that the government is hard on them.
That's right.
They look at Cholera now. If it's not checked, before you know it, so many people will die. They said 30 and they still counted.
Yeah.
So let's not do for Nigeria. We get better.
Thank you very much, Ada. Japheth, I was going to ask about vaccines, which the NSCDC Director General said that we've run out of, and then they've made contacts to cholera vaccines for cholera vaccines to donor agencies. So, what do you think? Where do you think we are now, and how dangerous is this to us, especially with the fact that we are not sure? Is it curable to start with? Quickly.
Yeah, there are vaccines for cholera all over the world, but the vaccines, as usual, are not enough to go around. There is an organization that champions the distribution of vaccines to countries that are affected by cholera, and they supplied us some. But in a country where you have over 200 million people, you are not going to get free vaccine for everyone, even if the vaccine is very cheap. Because it's a lot of money when you put them together. So we do not have the vaccine right now, according to the NCDC, but they said they have requested for more. We don't know when that is going to come, and we don't know how many that is going to be. And that is the more reason why people should take their destinies into their own hands and ensure that they imbibe the practices that can help us prevent more spread of the outbreak. That's and right. Also control the existing spread of the outbreak.
Well, cholera, they say, has been almost eradicated in most developed nations worldwide. We hope that they will be able to eradicate it as they are racing to eradicate malaria, etc., etc. Public health expert and a medical officer of the health at Felodun LCDA, Lagos State, and Vice Chairman, Medical Guild Association of all Lagos State Employed Doctors, Dr. Japheth Olubogi. Thank you so much for your keenness of insight on the program today.
It's been my pleasure.
And thank you too for watching, keeping our company. We sincerely appreciate those who call in and those who are not able to join in. Tomorrow is another day. Up next will be News at Noon. I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again. Bye for now.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill, the compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 490,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill to save the cost and work out of the convenience of your home. You would normally pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this. Call the number on your screen now and get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill for not 450,000 naira, but